Alright boys and girls, I hope you're all having a lovely day. So today guys, I want to talk about my top 15 games of all time. Now for those who don't know, I have actually done this video before. It was actually my very first video on this channel. And while I like that video, I do feel like my opinion has changed greatly on certain games and just how I feel about gaming in general. Quite a few of the games that I spoke about in that video are going to be in this video too. Like there is going to be some games that I still absolutely adore. But when I made that video, there were some games that I put in there that I enjoyed, but the more I think about it, I'm not sure they're my favourites. Like, I'll give you guys a bit of an example. I put Red Dead Redemption 2 in that list, and I love that game. It is absolutely fantastic. If I'm being totally honest with myself, I probably wouldn't put that in my top 15 games just because it didn't resonate with me quite as much as other games. I don't think about it non-stop like I do other certain games. And for me, when it comes to picking your favourite games, I feel like it has to be more than a game. And what do I even mean by that? That's kind of a weird statement. What I mean by that is that usually when I play a game, there's other memories that surround me playing the game that kind of gel inwards into the gaming memory, so that I not only enjoy the game, but just the general time and vibe that I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm explaining this so poorly, but my point is there's usually something else going on in my life around the time that I enjoyed, as well as the game that I was playing around that time. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'll give you guys a little bit of an example. I'll go into a bit of a story time here. I'm going to drop you some McJell lore. So I've said it before on this channel a gazillion times that me and my older brother, we didn't get along at all when we were kids. Like, we literally argued and fought all the time. We'd bicker and argue constantly. And this went on and on and on all the way through my teenage years. And it actually got to a point where me and my older brother literally stopped talking to each other. Like, we just literally just didn't even like say hello to one another. We didn't even talk at all. It went on for about nearly a year, I think. I was around 17 or 18. I can't remember exactly, but I was way too old to be so immature. It wasn't even over something serious. He didn't do anything crazy to me. I just got fed up with arguing with him, and I just wouldn't forgive him anymore. I just didn't want to talk to him, and vice versa. He didn't really want to talk to me. We just didn't get along. Anyway, let's get to the point of this story then, guys. So it was around about this time that my older brother was actually going to get married, and we're still not talking to one another. Like, we haven't spoken to each other for nearly a year. And I remember my dad going up to me and saying, "You've got to go and congratulate your brother." And I didn't want to. I was still being ultra petty, but I knew deep down in my heart that I had to say, you know, well done. I couldn't let this go on. It was just ridiculous. So anyway, I go up to my older brother and he's smoking a cigarette. He doesn't smoke anymore, but I remember him smoking, and I go up to him and congratulate him and all of that. And he's like, "Well, I thought you weren't talking to me," you know, jokingly. And I said to him, "Well, I thought you weren't talking to me." And we had a bit of a laugh about it. And pretty much since that day, me and my older brother, we've gotten along really well, actually. We don't fight and argue anymore. We're actually really good friends. So yeah, I was just thinking about this story in my head because I've been reading my Bible a lot lately, and there's a Bible verse. I think it's in Matthew, I can't remember now, and it talks about forgiving your brother 77 times, and when I thought about that verse, it reminded me of this story. I can't remember the exact Bible verse, but I'll put it up on screen here. I think it's Matthew 6:22. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, just reading that Bible verse, it really reminded me of how me and my older brother, you know, we just used to fight and argue, and we just didn't forgive each other, and now we have forgiven each other, and we're really good friends. So anyway, that was a long-winded story. What does any of that have to do with my top 15 games of all time? Well, one of the reasons me and my older brother get along so well is we both share a love for gaming. Even when we used to fight and argue, you know, we would both get along somewhat in terms of the fact that we both shared a passion for games. And one game series that we used to love playing together is Tony Hawk. We used to love playing these games. We used to play Pro Skater 4 together. I used to sit and watch him play Pro Skater 2 when I was really little. I remember on Christmas Day when he opened Tony Hawk's Underground 2, and I sat and watched him play it on Christmas Day, and just things like that. And I don't know, I just really feel like when you're picking your top 15 games of all time, the games should really resonate with you in terms of the memories. So that was kind of the point of the story. When I think about Tony Hawk, and there is a Tony Hawk game in this video, it's got to invoke some sort of emotional connection. It's got to have some memories. It's got to have something special about it. It can't just be a great game. It's got to have a real nostalgia to it, if that makes sense. That's how I feel about my top 15 games. Come on, in you come. You silly dogs. I could hear them barking outside as I was telling my little story. Anyway, guys, the intro to this video is way too long. It's getting ridiculous. The sun is shining literally in my eyes. Look at that sun, boys. That is beautiful. I think I'm gonna have to go for a dog walk in a bit. I'm gonna shut the curtains just so my face isn't completely blinded by the Lord's light. Anyway, boys, just before we get into my top 15, a few honourable mentions. I felt like I had to just mention these in passing. So first of all, we've got one that I played recently, and I love this game so much that I honestly feel like it will be in my top 15 games, but I played it so recently that I don't want it to be recency bias, if that makes sense, because I did that before in my other top 15 games. In that video, I think I put God of War Ragnarok as like my number 2 favourite game. And now that I think about it, yeah, I loved that game, but I'd only just played it recently, so it was just a recency bias. Anyway, that game is going to be Steins Gate. Loved this game so much. I got all of the endings, platinum trophied it, played it for a month and a half straight. It's my favourite visual novel, I think, of all time. I can't remember the last time I played a game where I just truly connected with the characters. I loved literally every character in this game. It was so well written. The plot was just absolutely spot on. So yeah, I honestly want to put this in the top 15, but I only just beat it, and I felt like there might be a little bit of recency bias, but nonetheless, in terms of visual novels, it doesn't get much better than Steins Gate. Next up as well is another one I played recently, and that is Claire Expedition 33. I do honestly feel like this has got to be in my top 15. I can't believe I'm leaving it out. I loved literally every aspect of this game. The gameplay is off the charts. I loved the parrying. I loved the story, the characters, the visuals, the music. There's nothing I dislike about this game, but again, when I was saying about the fact that, you know, a game should invoke some sort of emotional connection, with me, with Claire Obscure, I loved it. I played it on my own in this room. I don't really feel like there was anything around that time that really connected me with this game. I just thought it was a great game, and because of that, I feel like in 10 years time or whatever, I probably won't love this game quite as much, whereas these other games, because there was so many memories attached to them, I'm gonna love these games forever, so that's why that one loses out. My third honourable mention is gonna be Mad World. This is my favourite Wii game by a mile. I love everything about it, and I do not even like the Wii. I think the Wii is a pretty lame console, to be honest with you, but I'll never sell it because I love this game so much. This has one of my favourite soundtracks ever. I adore the soundtrack. It's like a hip-hop soundtrack. It's original, and it's so good. Honestly, just go and listen to it. The art style is incredible. It's all black and white, tons of blood. It's an awesome game. It just about misses out. I'd say this is probably number 16 on my list. And last but certainly not least, guys, we have got Streets of Rage. This was a tough one to leave out because when it comes to nostalgia, I've got a lot of it. I mean, I used to play this game all the time when I was a kid. Like I said before, me and my older brother, we didn't get along, but we did play Mega Drive together, and we did play Streets of Rage, and I have a lot of good memories with this game. Soundtrack is incredible. I remember playing it fairly recently, actually, and beating it. It's a 10 out of 10 game, but it's one of my favourite beat-em-ups ever. I even remember this strange little dream I had where I was in the Streets of Rage world, and I actually got kicked in the balls, and then I woke up with my balls throbbing. Bit of a weird dream, but that's how much I loved this game as a kid, as I would dream about it. And yeah, it was a hard one not to put in the list, but in terms of gameplay, you know, it's not like the best game ever, but in terms of memories, yeah, this game has that, certainly. So I do love this game, and it just about misses out. Right then, fellas, let's get into my list, okay? I'm not going to be doing this in any particular order. This is going to be somewhat random, to be honest. I know my favourite game of all time, and I know my second favourite game of all time, but third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I'm not sure. Honestly, I couldn't decide. So yeah, in no particular order then, boys, we're going to start off with number 15, which is Sleeping Dogs. Oh, I loved this game. I loved this game so bloody much. I think I've told the story a gazillion times, but we're gonna say it again. So I first discovered this game in a PlayStation magazine. So on the back of the official PlayStation magazines, they usually have some sort of game advert. And on the back, I remember seeing this front cover, and I thought, well, that just looks amazing. That looks like GTA. You know, I've got to look into this game. And I looked up their trailer, and I thought, okay, I need this game in my life. And it wasn't too far away from my birthday, so I begged my mum if I could get this game for my birthday, and of course, my mum being the great person she is, she got it for me. And I remember waking up at something ridiculous. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I woke up, I went over to my presents, and I opened this game, and I sat on my PS3 from like 4 or 5 in the morning up until 7 o'clock, just playing this game, you know, on my birthday. And then obviously I went to school, and I was telling all my friends about how good it was, and I had a bit of a sleepover with all my mates. I had like 5 or 6 of my friends stay over, and we were sat playing Sleeping Dogs, and I was like the only one that was was blown away by it. None of my friends were that amazed. I loved it though, like seriously, I just adored this game. And throughout my teenage years, I would play this game constantly. I loved the story, I loved the characters, I loved the driving in this game. To this day, in terms of open world sandbox games, this has some of my favorite driving ever. I like the driving in the GTA games, but there's something so fast-paced about this game's driving, and I still love it today. The fact that you can drive and then you can actually do like a jump from your car into other cars, I thought that was the freaking coolest thing ever. And of course, the fighting in this game. I mean, like the kung fu moves you could do, the different combos, the fact that you could just like throw people into ventilation systems and their heads would just crash into them. You could throw people into phone booths and beat them up, and it was just crazy. This game had crazy executions, and there was just nothing I disliked about it. I loved every aspect. It is so good, and I've obviously replayed it a few times, and yeah, to this day, one of my absolute favorite open world games. It's so unbelievably underrated. So yeah, Sleeping Dogs had to make the list. Right then, boys, game number 2 is going to be another one which I absolutely adored as a kid, which is going to be Star Wars Battlefront 2. So for those that don't know, I adore Star Wars. I absolutely love Star Wars ever since I was a kid, and I still love it to this day. And my favorite Star Wars game of all time is, of course, this one. It was so good. I played this game for hours and hours and hours and hours. I just could not get enough of this one. A lot of people have got great memories playing Call of Duty, and of course I did too. You know, I loved Call of Duty Black Ops, and I loved Modern Warfare 3, but for me, like when it comes to playing games that had that multiplayer vibe, I didn't play this game like actually online, but I would play with my mates and stuff like that. Yeah, Battlefront 2 was that game for me. I just put hundreds of hours into this. I'd load up the instant action, and I would just load up different maps and play them constantly. I remember playing this one at my nan's house, and she sadly passed away now, but I remember having good memories with that, and yeah, playing at my nan's was really good fun. I remember playing this game 2-player with my best mate, and we used to go around each other's houses and always play this one. And of course, you've got the Galactic Conquest mode, which to this day I still play. I think that mode is so freaking good. You literally go around and it's almost like a board game. You play the game and then you can like actually play you know, the game once you conquer different planets and stuff. I don't think I'm explaining it very well, but the Galactic Conquest in this game is top tier. But I think my favorite memory with this game is discovering the heroes versus villains mode. So for those that don't know, there's a mode in this game where you can literally go like different Jedis versus different Sith slash, you know, bounty hunters and stuff like that. So you'll have like Boba Fett, the Emperor, Darth Vader, you know, all the bad guys on one team, and then on a good team you'd have like Mace Windu and Anakin and Obi-Wan and Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, all of these guys on another team, and you'd go up against each other, and it was like the best freaking mode ever. And I remember discovering it with my best mate. I was like, I was playing instant action, and I clicked on Mos Eisley, and I saw heroes versus villains, and I thought, not heard of that. Like, I didn't even know it was there. I played this game for hundreds of hours and had no idea that that was in the game. So I click it just wondering what it was, and my eyes just lit up when I saw what the hell it was. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this game mode for the rest of my life. So yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2, so many good memories with this game. It is absolutely the best Star Wars game in my opinion. You know, the future Battlefront games, they didn't even hold a candle to this one. To this day, I can still go back and play this one. So yeah, Battlefront 2 easily makes the list. Alright guys, this one is heavy on the nostalgia. I actually think this might be the first ever video game that I ever saw, and that is going to be Grand Theft Auto 3. So yeah, I remember seeing my older brother play this game. I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I remember we were at my nan's house, and my nan has a little spare room, and in that spare room was a PS2, and I remember sat on the bed with my older brother, and I was playing with my little like action men toys, and you know, just little like army men figures. I was sitting there watching him play GTA, and I was just mesmerized. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And yeah, I would sit and watch him play this game all the time, and I absolutely love those memories. And then years later, when I was about, I want to say 10 or 11, I actually got this game. So I think I've said it before, my mum, she wouldn't buy games that we already owned. So my older brother already owned this game, so she was like, if you want this game, just go borrow it from your brother. But obviously, you know, me and my brother, we didn't get along. So yeah, asking my brother to like loan a game to me, just, it wasn't going to happen. We were just going to fight and argue over it. But I remember I had some pocket money, and I remember seeing this game inside of a game shop for $4.99, and I bought it. And yeah, I played this game so much as a kid. I remember even like years after that, I'd sold sold this game at this point. I remember finding this game in a charity shop and playing it again. I just had so many great memories playing this game. I love Liberty City in GTA 3. There's a real vibe to it, to where even if you go back to it to this day, like, you can still enjoy it. Like, it's just such a well-crafted map. I know that technically speaking, you know, the other GTA games are probably a little bit better. Like, you could certainly make the argument that Vice City and San Andreas and GTA 4 are better than GTA 3, but I don't know, there's just something really special about GTA 3 that I just really love and cherish. So yeah, that had to be in this video. Alright boys, let's jump on to a slightly more modern game. We have got ourselves Cuphead. So yeah, this is a game that, I mean, if we're just talking as a game, like in terms of fun factor, yeah, it's super duper fun. The art style is great, music's great, you know, the boss fights are 10 out of 10. There's nothing bad about this game. It is incredibly fun, it's challenging, it has everything you'd possibly want. But for me, what makes this game truly special is once again those memories. And I remember when I got this game and the amount of fun I had in just a short space of time, I honestly, I would never be able to replace the memories of this game. So yeah, the best way I can like describe how I love this game is just kind of telling you the story of it, which I know I've done enough stories today, but we're doing another. So yeah, I picked this game up because I was going to be going to visit my mum and dad. I lived in Devon at the time. My mum and dad lived in Surrey. I hadn't seen them for a really long time, and you know, I missed them. I missed them a lot. And I went with my older brother, and I wanted to just have a game to sort of fart around on whilst I was there, and I thought Cuphead would be a good one because I thought, you know, I'll just probably get my butt kicked by a few bosses, have a little go on it, and that'll be that. That's honestly how I thought it would go, but I ended up getting a little bit addicted to it, and I played it just the whole weekend. Obviously, I spent a lot of time with my mum and dad, and, you know, just had a really good weekend in general, but Cuphead was there with me. And I can even remember, like, being in the kitchen, and there was, like, a little kitchen stool in the corner. I'd be sitting there on my Nintendo Switch, you know, battling the different bosses in this game, and obviously the challenge, it was so difficult, but I would get through them. I remember talking to my mum or my dad or my brother, and just having a really good time in general whilst playing this game, but also conversing with my family. I'd wake up in the morning as well and have a little go on it. I'd play it before bed. I just played it that whole weekend, and whenever I think back to that weekend, I think about this game. I remember getting like super duper far. I got up to like King Dice on this game, and if you haven't played this game, King Dice is a super tough boss. It's like a boss gauntlet. It's really hard, and it was actually on the way home. I was on the train. I was trying to beat King Dice, and he kicked my ass, and I was like, nah, I can't beat King Dice just yet. I need to wait till I get home. So yeah, I remember getting home, you know, I'd obviously had a really good time with my parents. I did honestly feel kind of sad a little bit, but I docked my Nintendo Switch, you know, determined to beat this game, and I actually had some of my mum's cooking as well whilst I was playing this game. My mum had done me a few meals, and I took them home with me. There was like some homemade bread, and there was some sausage pasta, some sticky toffee pudding. I had it all home, you know, and I really missed my mum's cooking as well. When I lived on my own, you know, I just used to eat chicken all the time, literally every single day eating chicken. It sucked. So I had some of my mum's sausage pasta that she froze for me, and I remember defrosting it and heating it up, and I was playing Cuphead, trying to beat King Dice whilst eating my sausage pasta and sticky toffee pudding, and I finally beat King Dice, and I was so happy whilst eating my sausage pasta and just having a really good time. And then of course I beat the final boss as well. The final boss honestly wasn't too difficult. So yeah, whenever I think about Cuphead, I just think about that 3 or 4 day period of playing it and, you know, being with my mum and dad again, and I don't know, I just got really good memories with this game. Right guys, another special game here, a game that I've played many times, and that is The Last of Us. So yeah, I've actually got a lot of memories with this game because, like I said, I have beat it quite a few times. I remember when I first played this game, I got it for my birthday, I think it was, and yeah, I played through it, and I beat it on, I want to say the day before Christmas Eve, and I was just like, I was almost sad when I beat it because I loved the story, I loved the game in general, just everything about this game I really loved. And you know when you really love a game and you finish it and you almost feel this void? That's how I felt beating The Last of Us. And then some years later I ended up getting the remastered version for Christmas, and I played through the Left Behind DLC and then decided to play through the story again, and I beat it, and once again I remember just feeling that sad void. And I thought, like, at the time of beating this game for the second time, I decided that this was my favourite game of all time. Since then I've played a few more times, and it's no longer my favourite game of all time. I feel like I've just maybe played it too many times, and the trouble is when you replay a game, especially a really story driven game, it starts to lose its effect expect once you become overly familiar with it. So whilst I still absolutely love The Last of Us, it is still one of my favourite games ever. I wouldn't call it my number one, but I cannot deny those very first 2 playthroughs were so special. The story just really hit me. It's such a well-acted game. The voice acting in this game, I mean, it just feels like you're watching a film. I know some people aren't really into that sort of thing, but I really was mesmerized by this game and its story and characters. I really was into it. So yeah, Last of Us Part 1, absolutely fantastic game. I like the second one as well, but for me, the first one will always be the best. Alright guys, so the next game is actually the oldest game on this list. This is a game that is a PS1 game. It's the only PS1 game on my list. Most of the games are PS2, PS3, and PS4, but this one's PS1, and I thought about this game, and it's one of those games that I just think about so much that I can't deny it's got to be one of my favourites. Anyway, the game is going to be Ridge Racer Type 4. So yeah, when it comes to this game, for me, it's all about the vibe of it. Like, that's what I love about this game so much. It's just something about the aesthetic and the music of this game, and when you're playing it, you just feel like you're in the 90s again. Like, literally, play this game on a CRT TV and tell me you don't feel like you've transported back in time. I just think back to when I was playing this game, and I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't think I was going to like it quite as much as I did. And again, I was on my CRT TV in my flat on my own on like a Saturday evening or something, and I just fell in love with this game's vibe. Also, this game's got a story mode that is way too good. Like, it should not be as good as it is. There's like 4 different playable stories, and all 4 of them are pretty darn amazing. Like, the characters are actually pretty decent, and you just wouldn't expect it from a racing game. Like, you wouldn't expect the story to be actually genuinely good, but it is. And of course, the driving in this game is just incredibly fun. Like, in terms of driving games, this is easily my favorite, not just for the vibe, but also just how the game controls. I like the rest of the Ridge Racer series, but for me, this one is just my favorite in terms of the driving mechanics. But yeah, above all else, guys, like I said, it's all about the vibe of this one. I just really did feel like it was a perfect 90s game, and it's one that I know I will come back to again and again and again. And yeah, I just really love this game. I loved everything about it. Alright, boys, speaking of vibe, I actually don't think there's a better game when it comes to vibe than this one, and you might actually notice it there. I've got a poster of it. So yeah, that game is going to be Persona 5. Now, I'm holding up Royale. I don't actually have the original anymore. I've not played Royale properly. I've put a few hours into it a long time ago, but I never actually like went all the way through Royale because it is quite a long game. But yeah, I know there will come a time where I will play through all of Royale. But yeah, the original Persona 5, I mean, it doesn't get better, guys. Like, I absolutely loved that game. And the thing is, as well, is when I did originally play it, I didn't even like RPGs. Now, I kind of do like RPGs, so I feel like I'll love this game even more if I replay it. But yeah, there was just something so magical about this game. Like, I played it when I was at college, and I remember I would get home from college, and it was almost like you would have 2 different lives. You'd have your Persona life, and then your real life, and it felt like they would bleed into one another in a way. And there was just something so magical about hearing the music of this game as you're going from Cafe Blanc and all these different places. You'll go into town and talk to your friends and stuff. I don't know, there's something so magical about it. The aesthetic of this game is so good. Like, the different UI things in this game, it just makes it feel so stylish. And the story is absolutely 10 out of 10. The characters are really good as well. It's just a great game, guys. I mean, it's one of the absolute best games. I love everything about it. Like I said before, I wasn't even really into RPGs at the time. I didn't like turn-based combat, but now I kind of do like turn-based combat, so yeah, I just feel like I like it even more now. There was just something about this game. I mean, I put like 100 odd hours into it, and I never really got bored. There was never really a dull moment in this game. I wanted to play it every single day, and yeah, it's one of them that I want to replay. I want to find the time to sit and play this game, even if it takes me ages, even if I play it really slowly. It's one of them that I just have to replay again. So yeah, Persona 5 definitely had to make the list. Right, fellas, I mentioned before that there was going to be a Tony Hawk game in this video, and it wasn't super duper easy to decide because there's 2 Tony Hawk games that I just love so much. But yeah, ultimately I think I had to go with this one, and it's going to be Underground 2. So yeah, when it comes to nostalgia, for me, Underground 2, it is just the peak. I love Pro Skater 4, and I've got tons of nostalgia for that game, and I go back to it a lot, and I love that game so freaking much. But yeah, Thug 2, I love it. I love Underground 2 just a ridiculous amount. I've gone back to this game so many times. I played it as a kid. I remember unlocking Shrek when you beat the game. I've 100% completed the classic mode and the story mode as an adult. I've played this game on the PSP via the remix. I've played this game just so many times, and I love it every time I play it. Speaking of memories, lads, you know, I could talk endlessly about the childhood memories I have with this game, and I do have a lot of them. I mean, I remember when I got a CRT TV for my birthday, and it had a DVD player installed, and the very first game that I booted up on this new TV, because my old TV was knackered, was Underground 2, and I remember playing it with my best mate. I loved this game as a kid. But yeah, even like recently playing this game, I've got a ton of memories. I remember like even just a few years ago, me and my older brother, we were going to be going to the London gaming market. I was in my flat on my own. I was kind of bored. I didn't want to start anything crazy. I didn't want to play like a whole new game because I knew that I was going to be going to London and buying loads of new games. So I thought it would be a bad idea to, boot up a new one, and then, I would want to play the new stuff, if that makes sense. So I thought I'd go to an old reliable. I'd boot up Underground 2 because I played it so many times I didn't need to beat the whole game, and I'm pretty sure I beat the whole game. Like, I loved it that much, I beat it pretty much in one night. I was sat there with a sugar-free Red Bull just playing this game, and I loved it. I love it every time I play it. So yeah, for me, Underground 2, it's just the best. It's one of the best Tony Hawk games ever. Alright lads, so this next one is one that I love so much that I've actually done a 2-hour video on it. That's how much I loved this game. Alright, and that is going to be the original Silent Hill 2. So I do like the remake. The remake is very good, but nothing touches the original. The original's atmosphere and the horror in this one is like nothing I'd ever played before. The very first time I played this game, I don't remember ever being so scared. I've since replayed it and it's nowhere near as scary as I remember, but I've just played the rest of the series at this point, so that it's, I knew what was going to happen and it didn't quite scare me as much, but it was still scary. But yeah, I remember that original playthrough when you're going through the apartment blocks, and the first time you see Pyramid literally sent shivers down my spine. It was one of these things where I didn't want to play it because it was so scary. Like, it was actually physically felt like I was harming myself by playing it, but at the same time I wanted to find out about the story. So it was one of those things. I wanted to play it and I didn't, and I persevered through it and I played through, and I remember going through the prison, and that was absolute hell. I was so scared on my first playthrough of this game. It was one of the most unique horror experiences ever. And of course that story, man, I mean, like the plot twist in this game, it blew my mind. Like, I did not see it coming. And this game has just got such an uncanny way of putting fear into you. Like, I remember those prison cutscenes with Maria, where she's staring blankly into the camera. Like, that is literally one of the scariest things ever. And of course we can't talk about Silent Hill 2 without mentioning the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this game, it's unbelievably good. Like, obviously the horror tracks, there's some intense tracks in this game, but it's all about those really somber ones that they're almost depressing to listen to, but they've got this euphoric effect on you. See, I absolutely adore the Silent Hill series, but for me, Silent Hill 2 is head and shoulders above the rest. I love this game, and I'd probably say that this is my #2 favorite game of all time. So yeah, it's gonna be one of those that I come back to time and time again. I love this game. Alright boys, speaking of coming back to games, this is a game that I've actually beaten 4 times, which for me is quite a lot. I don't often replay games that often, and if I do, it's usually just a couple times, but I've come back to this game way too many times, so I had to include it, and that is going to be Catherine Full Body. So yeah, I've played this game, like I said, 4 times. The original time I played it, I just adored it. I loved the story. I thought it was so wacky and weird, and it is certainly weird, but I remember getting an ending that was pretty bad. Like, I wasn't a fan of the ending I got, and I ended up going through it again and trying to get the ending that I did want. And then years later, I ended up getting a Nintendo Switch, and I bought this game for it, and I think I've sold it now, my Nintendo Switch copy of this game, because I just thought I didn't really need it. But yeah, I played through it again, and I loved it, and I got a different ending, and even quite recently, I played it, and ended up going with the bad Catherine ending, like this one. Because basically the way it works is you can get different endings. It's like there's several, and they all revolve around the different Catherines, and I'd never gotten one of her endings, but it actually turned out to be a really good ending. So yeah, I ended up loving this game. I love the different endings. I love the characters. It's such a wacky and weird game, but above all else, I just love the gameplay. I am a big fan of puzzle games. I do really like them, and yeah, for me, Catherine Full Body has one of the best puzzle games ever. It's so addictive. So yeah, if you've never played this game, it's really, really weird, but you have to. Like, it's such a great little weird game. Right, fellas, next up we have got ourselves a classic. Okay, this is a game that I adore. I've got a lot of nostalgia for it, but even above nostalgia, I just think it is a great game, and that is, of course, going to be the original Resident Evil 4. So, you know, arguably you could say the remake is better, but for me, nothing touches the original. The original is just perfect. It's just got such a great blend of horror and action, and I feel like the remake is a really great action game, but it's not as intense with the horror. Like, in this game, when you're shooting people, you can't move. You have to stand still and let the enemies get closer, and especially early on in this game when the Chainsaw Man is coming at you, that is terrifying. The music is like really intense as well. I remember first time hearing that music, and it's like, it's really, really quite unsettling. But of course, as you progress through the game, it gets less scary and it just becomes an all-out action fest, and that's equally as fun too. So I love this game just from a pacing perspective. I love playing it, and I love the horror too. But above all of that, lads, I just have such an intense like nostalgia for this game. I just remember playing this game as a kid, and I didn't like horror games as a kid. I really didn't. But I loved Resident Evil 4. The first time I laid eyes on this game was actually at my best mate's house. His stepdad had actually bought this game for the Nintendo Wii. I remember me, my older brother, one of my older brother's mates, and my best mate as well. We were all gathered around the TV watching his stepdad play this game, and we were mesmerized. Me and my older brother went home, and we were just so jealous because we really wanted this game. And then my older brother ended up getting the PS2 copy of it, and I was jealous then because everyone had this game but me. And a little while later, my older brother got himself a Wii for his birthday, and with that he got a copy of Resident Evil 4 for the Wii, and then he didn't want his PS2 copy anymore, and I begged him. I literally begged him if I could have it. He said that he would sell it to me, and I was so happy, so I bought it off him with some pocket money. So I finally got to actually sit and properly play Resident Evil 4, and I played it so much. I loved it. I didn't end up finishing it as a kid. I think I got stuck on it. I got to I can't remember which chapter it is, but it's the bit where there's like a scorpion monster, if that makes sense, and he's like coming down from the ceiling. I didn't know what to do when I was a kid, but yeah, I've come back to it since, and of course beaten it, and yeah, to this day, I love this game. It is 10 out of 10, the best Resident Evil game by a mile, in my opinion. Right, guys, this next game made me a Batman fan. I love Batman. I didn't used to, but now I do, and that game is going to be Batman Arkham City, and when I say that this game made me a Batman fan, I should probably emphasize it was actually Arkham Asylum that made me the Batman fan. But yeah, playing Arkham City, I loved Asylum, but City for me just sort of built upon everything that was great about Arkham Asylum and just made it 10 times better. I can still go back to Arkham Asylum and still love it, but for me, the peak of the series is still Arkham City. I love everything about that game, and I've replayed it, I can't even remember how many times. Like I said, I don't replay games that often, but I think Arkham City, it's either I think my number one, like, most played game in terms of beating it is Pro Skater 3, and then I think it's Arkham City, and then I think number 3 is actually another game that's on my top 15 of all time, which I haven't spoken about yet. Point is, I've played it a lot of times. That's what I'm trying to say, alright? I've played it a lot of times, and the reason I've played it so many times is the combat is so addictive, as well as the story. The story to this game, like I said, it made me a Batman fan. I wasn't into Batman when I was a kid. I thought it was babyish. But I played this game and realised it is not babyish. And after playing these games, I remember like watching the Dark Knight movies and thinking, wow, I was completely blown away by those movies. And then I obviously like read a lot of the comic books, like The Killing Joke, and I was in love with the comics as well. I just got really like knee deep into Batman lore because of these games. I love the characters. I love the different villains. You know, you got Ra's al Ghul, Harley Quinn, Joker, of course, Clayface. It's got everyone in it. Yeah, that combat at the time, man, was just, it was so fun. I mean, it's still fun to this day. There's nothing more fun than beating the crap out of everyone as Batman, but yeah, at the time, I couldn't believe it, man. The boss fights as well, like that Mr. Freeze boss fight, that was such a great boss fight. So yeah, for me, Batman Arkham City, the best Batman game for me. I love the rest of the series. Like I said, I love Asylum. Origins is underrated. I even like Arkham Knight a lot, but for me, City is just the peak. It's the best in the series, in my opinion. Right, lads, this next one is one that I played before, and I didn't like it that much, but then I replayed it a couple years ago, and now it's got to be in this list, because I just think this game is just so special. Anyway, that game is going to be BioShock. So yeah, I played this game like when I was a teenager, and I liked it. I thought the combat was good, but I wasn't that into the story. I didn't think it was anything crazy, but I think the reason for that is I just wasn't paying attention. I'm not like very good at focusing on stuff, guys. I usually, like when I play games, I've got YouTube on in the background, or there'd just be some sort of distraction like my phone and stuff. So yeah, when I was playing this game as a teenager, I don't know, I just wasn't really paying that much attention to it, and I didn't really gel with the story like a lot of other people did. But I came back to it a few years later, and it was October at the time. It was pretty cold. I sat in my flat and I thought, you know what, I'm going to replay this game. And I remember having my blanket on, and I thought to myself, I'm going to play this game and I'm going to really concentrate on the story. I'm going to read all the audio tapes, or listen to them rather, and I'm just going to really focus on the story. No YouTube in the background. I'm just going to really pour myself into this game. And in doing so, I really fell in love with this game's world. It just hit me. Like, the story was so rich. The world of Rapture was just so unbelievable, and I even like got into it so much that there's actually a prequel book called Rapture that I actually read. I don't think I finished the book, but I read quite a bit of it, and I was really just into the lore of BioShock because of replaying this game. Just learning about how Rapture started, and it was obviously this amazing like place, you know, everyone loved it, and then it just slowly started to disintegrate into this absolutely awful place. Yeah, just finding about the lore of this game was so rewarding. And also the gameplay too, like I forgot to mention, the gameplay is really, really fun. The different, what's it called? What are the things called? Do you guys know what I mean? Like the different powers? I've forgotten what it's called now because it's been a while. But yeah, the different powers you can use in this game, you can combine them with different things. So like, for example, you can use the electric shock and then you can put it in the water. You know, you can do stuff like that. There's so many like rewarding ways you can play this game. And yeah, I really like the gameplay too. But for me, of course, the story was what really hit. And just playing this game in October, it would be a cold evening, be sat in my flat, my blanket on, earphones in, and I felt like I was not in the real world anymore. I felt like I was in Rapture. I just remember like playing this game for like 3 or 4 days straight, and I just loved it. So I had to include it in my top 15. All right, boys, we've only got 2 games remaining, and yeah, this game is a very special game in my heart. I'd probably actually argue that this is my most nostalgic game ever, and that's going to be Canis Canem Edit, aka Bully. So yeah, I played this game a lot, guys, alright? When I was a kid, I played this game non-stop. I discovered it when my older brother's mate, he was called Sonny, he came round and he brought this game with him, you know, around our house, and he was playing it, and I was blown away because I loved GTA, but, you know, I wasn't able to play them because my older brother owned all the GTA games at the time, and I remember seeing this game, and it was basically GTA at school, and I was like, well, I need this game, and I begged my mum that I could have it, but unfortunately, like, discovering this game, it was just after Christmas, and I'd got like a bunch of games for Christmas, and my mum was like, no, you play the games you got for Christmas. And I did, to be fair. I played the games I got for Christmas a lot. Annoyingly though as well, at the time, I not only wanted this game, but I actually needed a memory card for my PS2 because I didn't have one, and I was playing all my different games without a memory card, and I actually had to make one of the hardest decisions ever, like deciding whether I wanted this game or a memory card, and I had to pick the memory card, obviously, because I needed to save my games. But a little while after that, I remember I did some chores or something like that. I can't remember how I got the money. Maybe my nan gave it to me. I genuinely can't remember, but I got some money, and I finally was able to buy this game, and this is my original copy. Like, I've still got it. The manual's in like not the best shape. It's got a few little creases and stuff, but yeah, the fact that it's all still here, and I've played this game a gazillion times. Another thing as well with this game is that I used to get corrupted saves all the time. So like, I would have this game on my memory card, and it would always get corrupted, and it would only ever be this game. Like, none of my other games on that save, on that memory card, sorry, would ever get corrupted. But yeah, this game would get corrupted constantly, and I'd have to like replay the game. I didn't mind because I loved it so much. It just gave me an excuse to play it again. So yeah, I ended up beating this game as a kid like 6 or 7 times. It was something ridiculous. And then of course I've played it, you know, years later. I played it a couple years ago and loved it. So yeah, I've played this game a lot of times. It's either my 2nd or 3rd most played game ever. I think it's probably actually number 2 now that I think about it, because I've probably beaten this game like 8 times. I've played it a lot, and I love everything about this one. I love the story, I love the writing, the characters, the gameplay's fun, I love the different lessons. I just like the world that Rockstar made with this one, and to this day, it's easily my favourite Rockstar game. And if Rockstar ever make a sequel, please, just this game. I don't care. I don't need a Red Dead 3. I don't need a GTA 6. I don't need anything but this. If you give me a Bully 2, I will be in your debt forever. Right then, fellas, let's end this then with my favourite game of all time. I've talked about this game a lot, and that is, of course, Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. So yeah, I absolutely love this game. I didn't love it like when I first played it though. When I first played it, I kind of hated it. So yeah, if you guys don't know, I'm not really like into Dark Souls. It's not really my thing usually. I've played a few of them, you know, the sort of Dark Souls-y type games, but usually not my cup of tea. Reason being is they're balls hard and I don't like the stress, alright? I'm not into it. But with Sekiro, I bought it like because I thought it'd be funny to do videos on. I used to have a channel called McJell as well, where I used to play random games, and I thought it'd be funny to just play this game on there and get my butt kicked and just make a video with it, and that would be that. And I never got around to making the video, and then one day I was really bored, and I thought, I'm just gonna play this game because I've got it sat in my collection, I've got nothing better to do, and I was really kind of blown away by the samurai aesthetic and the whole world that was created, and I thought it was really cool. But, you know, like I said, I'm not very good with these types of games, and I was getting my butt kicked, and I kind of gave up. I thought I'm not really into it, but there was something like that was just kind of drawing me back to coming to it again. Like I would literally tell myself I'm not going to play it, and I would boot it back up again and play it, and I just kept doing that like 3 or 4 times, and I would just get my ass kicked and then come back to it, and it just kept happening. Anyway, lo and behold, I ended up getting past the bit I was stuck on. I think it was the first boss. I can't remember what his name is now. I want to say Genichiro. I don't think that's it. No, that's a different boss. I can't remember. The guy on the horse, you know, that first boss, that was who was giving me the trouble. And I finally beat him, and I was so happy. I couldn't believe it. And I said to myself, you know what? I need to stick with this game, because that feeling I got from beating that boss, I need that feeling. So yeah, I was playing through it, and I was still like really terrible at it, and I come across a side boss that just beat me over and over and over again, and I was trying to like beat this boss, but I just couldn't parry to save my life. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I was playing it, and I kept getting beaten by this boss. So I stuck with it, guys, and I persevered, and I finally beat him. It took me something like 4 or 5 hours. It was ridiculous, but like fighting this boss over and over and over again, it started to teach me how to parry, and then after that, I would like fight all the different bosses, and I was slowly getting better and better at the parrying. And I made it all the way up until the final boss, and I fought the final boss for something like 7 or 8 hours straight. It was ridiculous, and I couldn't beat him until I finally did, and I've never felt anything like it. I remember getting his like health bar to like pretty slim, and my heart was beating out my chest, and I finally did it. I've never been happier. And then I, of course, like I loved the game so much that I replayed it, and I was a lot better on the second playthrough. It didn't take me nearly as long to beat it on the second playthrough. And I played it again, and I've played it now 4 times, and each time I play it, I get better at this game, and it's to a point now where I'm actually alright at it. I'm not like an expert or anything, you know, I still struggle with some of the bosses, but yeah, the fact that I can beat this game pretty quickly now, yeah, I just love it. I love this game so much, and that feeling of just being able to beat those bosses, and it's like it's almost like that old saying from Bruce Lee. It's like you practice, I don't fear the man that practices 1,000 kicks, I fear the man that practices 1 kick 1,000 times. What does that have to do with this game? Well, the thing is, you practice this game so much that you just get good at it. And I don't know, that was a stupid analogy. It didn't really coerce with the game. But point is, you practice on this game, you get better at it, and it really is fulfilling once you get good. For that reason alone, Sekiro, the fact that I've beaten it so many times and I just don't get bored of it, I want to play it again. I'm going to play it again. I'm going to play it so many more times, and I'm going to love it every time I play it. So yeah, for that reason, it's my favorite game. Right, boys, I've done a lot of talking. My throat hurts, my voice hurts. I'm done now. Enough stories. I think that's gonna do it. I hope you guys did enjoy this little nostalgia trip. Like I said, this is a video I've done before, but this was an updated version. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. All right, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.